Welcome back, everybody. And do you know what? I'm pretty sick of having to sit at this desk and report to you, the hard-working, law-abiding citizens of this country, about how broken our system really is. The latest humiliation is, of course, the illegal migrant paedophile from Ethiopia, Hadush Kebatu, who has been accidentally released from prison and is now at large in London. Well, the Metropolitan Police is urging the convicted sex offender to turn himself in. Met Police Commander James Conway updated the public earlier.
I'm also making a direct appeal to Mr. Kebatu himself. We want to locate you in a safe and controlled way. You had already indicated a desire to return to Ethiopia when speaking to immigration staff. The best outcome for you is to make contact directly with us by either calling 999 or reporting yourself to a police station. We would ask any member of the public who sees Mr. Kebatu to call 999 immediately.
It's just a joke, isn't it? It's a complete joke, and I'm just furious about this. I can't believe this has been allowed to happen. The search for Kebatu began at 12:57 BST on Friday after Essex police were alerted to a prison release error. And by then, he boarded a London-bound train from Chelmsford, arriving at Stratford at 12 minutes past 1. Well, video evidence placed him in Chelmsford after his mistaken release, and the Met Police now led the manhunt with strong confidence that he remains in the London area. Well, Kebatu, who is now sucking up hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of police time, should have been on a flight back to Ethiopia, shouldn't he, with the rest of these illegals months ago. But instead, we've been housing him here in our already overflowing prisons. Also, we can appease the extreme radicals on the far left who don't believe in borders. And many of them, I'm telling you this, will think this man should be allowed to stay here despite his sick crimes. We've all seen it. And tonight, young women, uni students and others will be getting ready to go out and enjoy themselves across London. I would be terrified to be a parent of one of those women tonight. And I can't even fathom the fear, the trauma this must be causing for the child he sexually abused. Her parents must be absolutely furious. I would be. Now, women across London and Essex are going to have to look over their shoulder because our incompetent government lets this sexual predator back out. This is a government-run institution. Let's not forget it. It is part of the government apparatus. This man should not only never have been here in the first place, frankly, but he should have at least been on the first flight out of this country when he was arrested and warned. If he ever stepped in this country ever again, he'd face the gallows. That is the only hard justice that is going to deter these criminals from ever coming back to Britain and committing a feral crime like that one. Well, I think, like you, my patience is at an end. I'm done giving chances to failed politicians and governments who are, at this point, willfully putting the lives and the safety of citizens in this country at risk, putting them at the back of the housing queue, putting them at the back of the NHS queue, and putting illegal foreign criminals at the front.
We are going to drive down migration, both legal and illegal. That will only be done with a serious plan. The only way to make it work is to smash the gangs that are running the vile trade.
It's not working. It's not working, though, is it, Keir? It's just not working. The buck has to stop with the Prime Minister. His smash the gangs farce has completely and abysmally failed. His deportations agreement with France has failed. He has no plan to remove these men from our country, has he? For every single illegal criminal that arrives here and commits a crime, well, I think that is now all on Keir Starmer's hands. And some breaking news. Met police officers have now confirmed that migrant Hadush Kebatu was last seen shortly before 8 p.m. on Friday evening in the Dalston area of Hackney, London. He was still wearing his prison-issue grey tracksuit, top and bottoms, but is now carrying his belongings in a distinctive white bag with pictures of avocados on it. Just can't make it up, can you? Additional officers have been deployed to the area to carry out further searches, but we are appealing for the help of local residents to report any sightings possible, the police say. We'll have more of those CCTV and pictures to show you shortly. I'll just read the top of that. Breaking news for you again. Met police officers have now confirmed that migrant Hadush Kebatu was last seen shortly before 8 p.m. on Friday evening in the Dalston area of Hackney in London. He was still wearing his prison-issue grey tracksuit, top and bottoms, but is now carrying his belongings in a distinctive white bag with pictures of avocados on it.
We're living in a time of what feels like pretty significant social change, and it makes us question things that we've even taken for granted for decades. And one of those at the moment that people are wondering about is actually money. Is the money in your bank account safe? Should you be investing elsewhere? Are we looking at a potential global crash? What will it mean for your savings? Is there a way that you could be using your money that might be outside of government control even? Well, TallyMoney is potentially one solution. So I'm delighted to say that I'm joined today by the CEO and founder of TallyMoney, Cameron Parry. What is TallyMoney?
Well, at TallyMoney, you basically get gold you can spend. So we give people an individual account in their name, everyday account. They get a sort code, an account number. They use that account just like they would pounds from their bank, but it's milligrams of gold that we brand as Tally.
Okay. Why would you do that, though? What is the benefit to the customer instead of just having a normal pound sterling account?
Gold's performance against the pound is above 11% per annum over the last 25 years on average. But we still need money in our daily lives, and we have savings. We know that it's good common sense and prudent to save up for things, not just living credit. You know, whether it's a holiday or a rainy day, your retirement planning, you need to have money in your life, basically, that you can rely on, that's dependable, that nobody meddles with, that nobody can weaponise against you, which is another element of government control when it's the government currency, which we could talk about another time. And it should be pretty simple and straightforward, and that's what we deliver at Tally. And really, we just want people to feel safe and happy with their money. There was a time when the bigger your bank balance, the more confident you felt. Now it's like, I need to do something with it. I can't leave it there. In Tally, you can.
Okay, brilliant. Cameron Parry from TallyMoney, thank you so much.
Thank you, Bev.
OK, well, let's get the thoughts on this story with my panel, former Labour advisor Paul Richards, former Met Police detective Peter Blexley and political commentator Lauren McEvitt. Peter, I'd like to start with you because I think it would be very useful for our audience to know what goes in to an investigation, a manhunt like this.
Yes, but first of all, I have to say something extremely important, if I may.
Please.
This case, regrettably, has overshadowed the fact that yesterday an illegal immigrant who came here from Sudan on a boat was convicted of murdering 27-year-old gorgeous Rhiannon White. Rest her soul.
Here.
Kebatu, like magic from yesterday, came here on rubber dinghies. These people are flooding into our country and they are now, as we can confirm, murdering British citizens, sexually assaulting British children, entering the illegal tobacco industry, illegally working as delivery drivers and the such like. This is an utter scandal. Shame on Paul's lot. Smash the gangs. What a pathetic slogan that they failed on. And as for Lauren and her pathetic government that didn't stop the boats, they have a huge share of responsibility about this global embarrassment for our country, putting our people at danger. Sorry to now answer your question, only now, OK? Huge police resources to try and rescue this embarrassment. I quite think it was pathetic to see that police officer almost begging Kebatu to hand himself in. Where's the robustness? Where's the language like, we're coming for you, we're going to find you, so best you hand yourself in first? Of course, if he tries to hand himself at a police station, he'll have to walk so far, he'll probably die of dehydration or starvation.
Well, yeah, because we've closed them all down, haven't we?
Correct.
Shut all the police stations
Correct.
down. Where would he hand himself into, frankly? It's completely bonkers. prisoners. I mean, Paul, I appreciate that David Lammy's come out and said he's furious, but this is just not going to cut it. I mean, this is not going to cut it. This is an extreme embarrassment for the government. Had they just done what everyone had asked, even he, Hadush Kebatu, wanted to be deported, why did we just not kick him out of this country while we had the chance?
I can tell your script was written by a bloke, by the way, because women always have to...
Well, I write my own scripts, as we spoke about earlier. I write all of my own monologues on this channel.
Because women always have to look over their shoulders regardless. I mean, that is true. I don't agree with you on the death penalty. I don't think that would have any deterrent effect in this case at all, so I don't believe that's a good idea at all. I think it makes criminals behave worse if they think they're going to be, hung anyway. David Lammy, I'm pretty sure he will have considered his position over this because it is a weapons-grade fiasco. He's not personally responsible for letting this guy go. That would have been some operational level. But, the buck does stop. However, I do think that the Met are going to get this guy because there's so much surveillance now. I mean, the fact we've got these almost blow-by-blow accounts of his movements, I think he will be caught. And the best thing then is for him to be kicked out as fast as possible.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, I think Peter's right to say, Lauren, the Tories hold a lot of responsibility for this because the prison system is completely broken. They did not build any prison spaces, and that is an unfortunate position for them to be in, because when we look at this case here, well, had they done a good enough job of building prisons and propping up our prison services, we might not be in this position today.
It's true, and I'm in the category of Tory who firmly believes that of the £164 million we sent to Ethiopia in 2023, we should be deducting for the bill of every Ethiopian in our prison system. Unlike your monologue earlier, I don't think sending him back immediately is the right answer because we have no control over our southern border. He would just come back and he would not be in prison and a dangerous man would be on the streets. He should be locked up and possibly in the future sent back to Ethiopia at the point at which we are sure that he cannot get back into this country again and present a danger. Paul's right, though. This isn't a new ground for women looking over their shoulder in London.
No, I certainly not.
Just because Paul's yelled at my party's background, let's yell at the Met for that, shall we?
Well, I would say this, that because I appreciate...
Excuse me,
women...
Theresa May stripped 20,000 jobs out of policing. She ruined policing. So many of the problems with current policing is firmly at her doorstep.
And hiring rapists didn't help you either, did it?
What's a thing to say, right? And because vetting, standards, recruitment and all of that fell through the floor because of the wicked budget cuts that your pathetic government imposed upon policing.
Which had to be faced by all departments because, frankly, of what his party had done in government before we got in.
Your pathetic government made the streets of Britain more dangerous.
Your police did nothing to help.
There is clearly blame across the political spectrum here. And I don't think there's any one government responsible. I don't think it's this Labour government purely responsible. I don't think it's the last Tory government purely responsible. I think there's probably 3 or 4 different governments of different colours all responsible for the chaos this country is in today. What I think is really difficult for people to stomach, and I hear what you're saying, women do have to look over their shoulder, not just in London, around the country now, by the way. I think it's disgusting, the state of our streets in this country, but especially now. And I think more, and of course I think of the women tonight who might just be even more careful than they normally would be because of this man's on the loose and he's clearly here in the capital. But I think about the victims as well, Peter. I think about the sexual abuse that trauma he would have put onto that poor child and their parents who must be thinking, God, I wish this man would be gone out of my life because that poor child must have heard the news.
And part of the healing process for them may have been the fact that he was captured, charged, convicted and incarcerated. All of that could quite easily be undone now by the fact that he is at large on the streets of London. But the concerning factor for me is that report this evening that it was 8 p.m. last night means that actually the crumbs, the trail, has got longer. They're now 26 hours behind him, and that's deeply concerning.
Now, something else just occurs to me is how did this happen in the first place? I mean, what is the process whereby someone is released like this? Are we completely ruling out the idea that there might have been a bribe or some sort of inside job or what? Because
we know
it's so anomalous, isn't it? It's so bizarre that someone can simply be...
Lord Timpson, the prisons minister, has he been sacked?
Well, no,
Shabana Mahmood, the Home Secretary, who was previously the Justice Minister. No. Let's fire an underling, because that's how the establishment and all those people in their places on high do things. Sack an underling.
How did it happen? I mean, how is this situation allowed to arise? Because if we don't understand that, it's going to happen again, isn't it?
And how is he in his prison prison tracksuit? Because if you're formally released from prison...
Unfortunately, they all look like they're...
No, but...
grey tracksuits in Dalston is not unique, I'm afraid.
When you're formally released from prison, you're released in what you came into prison wearing.
Listen, I don't have all the answers to that. Or what I can see, which I think is exceptionally embarrassing for this country, is that he went back to the prison. He waited there 90 minutes because even he was confused. And the prison guards told him to go away. They sent him away, pointed him to a train station. Can you believe it? That is how incompetent it is. An eyewitness, a taxi driver, allegedly told reporters this, that he spotted him standing outside the prison. This country is an utter joke. It's not like this man's face hasn't been plastered all over front pages, all over the TV. Surely the people in the prison must have known who he was. I just can't fathom. This is one of the biggest, most insane...
It's a scandal.
It's a scandal.
It's an absolute scandal
of a man who did something so heinous and feral to children in this country. It's something about it has enraged the public, and I know many of you will be angry at home.
And don't forget Rhiannon White, rest her soul.
Absolutely. I want to actually, thank you for reminding me of that, Peter, because that is a very important story, and we will talk about that story. I give you my word on that, Peter. We will talk about it, all right? I just want to get a rise of reply from the Home Office here. A spokesperson said this. I think we might have a wrong right of reply there. We will get to a right of reply as soon as we can, OK? But until then, time is ticking. I'm sure the government would deny this is a scandal and they're doing their best to get everything done.